week, 15 passionate performers gave it everything. Then 15 became 5. And for the remaining 5, the stakes have never been higher. It's finals time, and this is Calisthenics. Last week, 5 performers became 5 finalists. Now their toughest challenge is about to begin.
When I found out that I got through to the top 5, I was so excited and I just felt so proud of myself. Anyone out of the 15 could have got the call. Everyone is just so amazing in this group.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's the final 5 and the pressure's on a little bit more.
I was pretty shocked. I didn't kind of expect to get into the top 5. My coach said to me, there's no point in learning a full solo unless you actually get into the final 5. So when I found out that I was in the final 5, I've never had to whip something out as quick as this. It's been a long 3 days, that's for sure.
These girls are they don't just bring tricks, they also bring emotion and things like that. So it's going to be hard today.
While the finalists prepare, the story hasn't ended for the entire group, who are rehearsing a spectacular team performance for the final night.
This is the most unique choreographic situation we've ever been in. We haven't been face-to-face, and we've only been able to coach 5 girls at a time in the space that we've had. So we had to go to good old trusty Zoom, and we've been learning through Zoom, we've been learning just through videos, and the choreography was only given to the girls 2 days ago. So today is the first time we've been face-to-face with them and seen the choreography actually come to life. They've really surprised us. They're pretty phenomenal, so we're really excited.
It's certainly been a very, very, very quick turnaround time for this project. We've had, maybe 2 days of choreo. I must say it's been quite invigorating and a lot of fun. I do enjoy working under a bit of pressure. Actually, this might be a better option if you angle the gallop and the turns.
It has been such a strange year for everyone, all locked up in their houses. So for these girls to go from in their lounge rooms to suddenly out on stage just within 2 days, they are so excited to share their love of calisthenics with everyone. All these girls have just been busting themselves, not just to get out of their house, but to get out of their skin and really dance again.
In order to achieve optimal success, everyone needs to work together as one. You can have a team of champions or you can have a champion team.
Calisthenics came from the whole idea of the importance of a team, and the centre of everything we do is our teamwork.
Even though we're celebrating individuals, it really is about all coming together and working as a team and uniting to celebrate what calisthenics really is, and that is strong women working together, being athletic, being confident and creative and expressing that to their audience.
This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin. This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin.
When we move from the audition piece into the girls' final performances, obviously we're going to be seeing a lot more of them in terms of the length of their performances, and that raises some issues regarding their stamina and their ability to stay on top of their game. And a lot of the girls will be putting in as many tricks and tumbles and elements that, that they excel in. But their final performances should really be, in my view, the ultimate showcase of what they can do.
So today I am competing my solo as one of the top 5 calisthenic girls in Victoria. My muscles are very sore and tight, and walking is a bit of a struggle at the moment. My feet are currently very battered and bruised and very burnt, and they've definitely seen better days. I feel like the music to my solo is a reflection on how I am in a way and how I can be very trapped in my own head sometimes about my thoughts or how I think I'm not good enough. It's about a bird being trapped and trying to set free.
Just trust yourself. You know what to do. You've got all that practice behind you, and you can do this today.
My costume for today is sort of inspired by a bird. It's very glittery and very sparkly. In my solo, there is a part where I do a set of balances, and it's towards the end of the solo, so by the time I get to it, I'm already quite tired and exhausted, so balancing is quite hard to do. One of the worst things that could happen out there today would just be forgetting my routine or falling out of simple movements that I know that I usually will nail. Performing in the top 5, that in itself is just, I find that so nerve-wracking. In the final moments before I go on stage, I always just like to think to myself that I've got this. If I start worrying about the routine, then I get in my head and then it's definitely not going to happen on stage.
Clipped wings, I was a broken thing. Had a voice, but I could not sing. You would want me down. I struggled on the ground. Oh.
The solo really reflects on how I should just be free and just not be trapped in my own head and just really let go.
I struggle to fly now. Oh, but there's a scream inside. We are tried out. We hold on so tight. We cannot deny it's us alive. Oh, it is us alive. Oh, yes, there's a scream inside. We are tried out. We hold on so tight, but I don't wanna die. No, I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die. I'll shout it out like a bird set free. Can do anything, anything. Can do anything. Can do anything, anything. Can do anything.
Well done. How do you feel after that?
All right.
It was fantastic. It was a beautiful performance. I thought your technique was just stunning. The use of stage was amazing.
Your footwork, the way that you extend through your ankles is something that dancers dream of, and it looks effortless to you. So I love watching your footwork.
I love watching you. I think you're a beautiful performer, so just keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for such a gorgeous performance.
I thought you were absolutely phenomenal. I felt moved watching you, and the judges said you're out of this world.
It makes me feel so happy just to hear that, and it makes me feel like I'm really doing well, and I know that I can achieve what I can achieve, and it helps me get out of my own head a little bit and just think, wow, I could actually probably get somewhere with this in my life.
Couldn't believe it, actually getting the call to say that I'd actually made the finals. It was completely unexpected, but extremely exciting.
Rebecca is an extremely well-trained dancer.
I've chosen music that's really, I think, reflective of what I've been through. I left calisthenics and then have come back. It's a song from Sunset Boulevard, As If We Never Said Goodbye. So it's quite heartfelt for me, as I think there's a lot of it that I can start relating to, and I feel as has reflected my last 5 years of calisthenics.
What's probably the thing that's worrying you the most?
Just all the back work. It's just feeling a bit tight at the moment. The injuries that I have at the moment, they're not too severe, especially as I'm getting older. It's starting to, things aren't repairing overnight as quickly as I'd like. We haven't had much time to practice, so our skin on our feet isn't as hard as what it normally is, so it's quite soft. It's very common in calisthenics for your feet to get quite, blisters and a little bit torn and things like that, just purely because we actually don't dance with shoes on.
The way you do things and what you can actually do with emotion, the way you feel things, you feel it right down into your soul. And I think you just got to let that come out and try not to think about it. And you'll have adrenaline and the stage lights and all of that, so I'm sure you'll be okay.
With the final moments before I go on stage, I'm really just thinking all about connecting with my music. If I feel like I can feel myself and connect personally with the music, I just find it's a lot easier to portray the music and to move to it.
I don't know why I'm frightened. I know my way around here. The cardboard trees, the painted seas, the sound here. Yes, a world to rediscover.
It's all about what am I trying to portray, what emotion am I trying to give, what journey am I trying to give the audience.
And I need
It's effortless.
whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways. The atmosphere as thrilling here as always. Feel the early morning madness. Feel the magic in the making. Why everything's as if we never said goodbye. I don't want to be alone. That's all in the past. This world's waited long enough. I've come home at last. And this time will be bigger and brighter than we knew it. So watch me fly. We all know I can do it. With an early morning madness, we'll have magic in the making. Yes, everything's as if we never said goodbye.
There it is, beautiful.
That'll do.
Stunning. That was absolutely stunning.
Oh, Beck. Beck, I'm like crying.
Bang. That's all I've got to say. From the moment you walked out of that wing, you had me. It was just unbelievable.
For me, Beck, it's what you don't do. It's the space between your movements. But you can't really teach that. It's just something you've got. And what you have is very special.
Bravo.
Congratulations. You should be really happy. Well done.
Well, you had the judges in tears. You had us moved and emotional. What does that mean for you as a performer?
It just means that what I'm feeling, I'm able to give to everyone else, because that's all I'm aiming for, is to take everyone on the journey that I feel like I've been through and have that emotion come through. So it means the world to me.
This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin. This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Couture Costume Dancewear. They met more than 50 years ago, and a lifetime later, they're still busting out moves together. It's time to meet Brenda and Gwenda.
Calisthenics, the word, comes from Greek meaning beauty and strength, and I think that comes through. Not only is it strength, but it's grace and beauty as well.
Started in Victoria over 100 years ago with classes in the city of Melbourne. I think from there it's just grown and developed as their pupils became teachers. I've been involved in calisthenics for 70 plus years. I started as a 6-year-old at a small club in West Thornbury.
I started calisthenics at the age of 4, and because of my friendships that have developed, it's always part of my life.
I think that's probably one of the greatest attributes. The friendships are very valuable.
Well, we first got to know each other as you was a competitor and I was a coach.
I think people have got used to our being Brenda and Gwenda together, and we're often together.
Some people did get a little bit confused as to which one was which.
Many times on the phone I've said, you know, oh, hello, Gwenda, it's Brenda. It sounds a bit sort of funny, so I say, hello, Gwen, it's Brenda speaking.
Gwenda and I have been friends for well over 50 years. We have done so much together in our calisthenic journey. We never, ever went to the same club, but we've forged this friendship, and it's a friendship that I value, always have, and will for the rest of my life.
I value her friendship and her wisdom greatly.
I think the calisthenic audiences would have to be the noisiest audiences you could ever find because they're all catching up on last year's news.
Calisthenics can become an addiction.
It is an addiction.
For me, calisthenics was my life. I gave up all types of other activities simply because of calisthenics. It's something I've never regretted.
I still enjoy going along to the competitions. I really love being involved with the young ones. Oh, perhaps I do feel like a grandma to them sometimes.
It's just part of our life.
You just follow it forever. I'll never lose the passion for it, that's for sure.
I think I got through to the top 5 because of my emotion.
Maggie seems to me to be a dancer who's trained in a lot of different genres. She is going to bring some acting to the stage, which is really refreshing and something that I'd like to see a little bit more of in terms of building that theatrical sort of performance.
Sometimes I have these fade-out moments, my coach calls them, where I'm fully in it and then suddenly I go to do a leg mount or something and I just go full stage mode. My coach has been the most important thing about this experience. I trust Brooke 1,000,000,000,000%.
We need to really see you lose yourself a little bit more in that bit. So the sharp.
I really want to make Brooke proud because I want to do the routine justice because it's so amazing.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin.
Today I'm performing a song called Piano Man. It's like reliving how happy he used to be, and it's just really powerful piece. The storytelling is what carries the whole dance. It's a story, it's not a dance.
But it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes.
your connection to the character and the piece, and just being able to find those pauses and hold and just never feeling like you were rushed. It felt like the choreo just fell out of you. It was like you were painting a picture with the movement.
Bringing the theatre to Calisthenics, what a production.
You've got all the technique and you have everything else, but it's that musical theatre, creativity. I mean, I think you're a bit of a dark horse, one to watch.
How did you feel? What did you love about it?
I just loved the whole setting and like the vibe. You could say that I just like absorbed from all the lighting and the stage. I just loved it.
This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Couture Costume Dancewear. This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin.
My routine that I'm doing today is Aladdin, and I'm performing as Jasmine. This routine is very hard. I do have some pretty cool tricks in there that some people may not have seen before. My costume is amazing. My mum just puts her whole heart and soul into creating these beautiful costumes. It's just plastered with diamantes, and you know, who doesn't want to shine like a big diamond or a disco ball on the stage?
I have seen Angel perform before, and she enters a stage and you just find yourself watching her. If she's dancing with other girls, it's hard to take your eye off her.
Some movements in my routine, they're definitely new to calisthenics. I think it's important to be innovative. It's definitely a risk having risky movements. A lot could go wrong today in my routine, especially with my injury, my sore body. Today when I arrived, I was feeling very anxious, very nervous. I am very injured, so that has really added to the stress for today. You know, I'm just hoping that I can get through my routine. In my mind, pulling off my routine today seems almost impossible, but you know, I'm here and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, so I'm gonna give it all I've got. So the music for the routine, Aladdin, it starts off with "You Are the Diamond in the Rough." I've always felt, I don't know why I'm being so emotional today. I've always felt like being the diamond in the rough, like having my costume shining bright like a diamond and seeing that I'm just simply standing there at the back of the stage, and as soon as I turn around, bam, you don't know what you've been missing.
The diamond in the rough.
Wow, you really are an angel. You look beautiful up there. I just want to comment on that costume. All those crystals all over that costume are just amazing. Yeah. How do you feel?
Good.
Yeah, it was a really powerful, strong, emotional performance.
Angel, the Arabian princess. My God, I cannot take my eyes off you. You know what? You are such a captivating dancer, and what I love is that as you've grown as a performer, I think you actually now realise how captivating you are. So thank you for that.
Your flexibility, the turnout of your feet is just that beautiful fish that you've got going on with your feet. Did you notice that? Particularly when you're upside down, is just like, wow. Every calisthenics performer's dream. So congratulations, that was beautiful, beautiful.
Angel, the specialists were saying they can't take their eyes off you. That was phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little exhausted, but I'm pretty happy with my performance.
It was dramatic.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Calisthenics has always been an important part of Danielle Wilson's life. And when her health took a turn for the worse a few years ago, it was the Cali community that would prove integral to her recovery.
So I started calisthenics when I was 5. My mum wanted to find something for me that would get out all the extra energy that I had as a child.
Over 20 years service with the club, Danielle Wilson.
Yeah, it was devastating to find out about Danny's breast cancer. I think I could still probably cry now thinking about it. It was really, really tough time for her and the community that loves her.
When I found out Mum had breast cancer, I can vividly remember we had a family meeting and I could tell something was wrong, but I didn't know what because Mum and Dad were both visibly upset. It was just a lot to take in at the one time. I just wasn't sure if Mum was going to be okay or the severity of what it was because we didn't know at that point.
And then I saw my mum like kind of crying and I started crying a bit as well and it was hard.
The thing I was scared of the most was the impact that it would have on my kids.
You know, the girls were a bit taken aback by the lack of hair, but Ethan loved rubbing my bald head and thought it was pretty awesome, I think.
It's hard enough being a teenage nowadays, let alone having a mum that's going through breast cancer. But they were amazing. You know, they would help with dinner. They never expected anything. When I shaved my head, they were there to support me. They were they were incredible. So I started with 6 months of chemo and then I went on to 6 weeks of daily radiation. And then after that, I had a mastectomy. So it was pretty much most of 2017 was, focused on getting through that cancer.
A lot of Mum's friends and my friends through calisthenics were so supportive of everyone in the family, not just Mum, because as much as it obviously affected Mum the most, it also took its toll on all of us.
The club itself organised sort of pink training sessions, which was just a bit of fun for the girls to have. They all dressed up in pink outfits, crazy pink hair and things like that, and then had to bring money and raise money for breast cancer research. But then Mother's Day 2017, another girlfriend of mine organised a group of us to do the Mother's Day Classic. That became bigger than Ben-Hur, and we had over 110 people there. And I would say over half would have been through calisthenics. The amount of people there that got up at god-awful hour on Mother's Day morning to show their support for me and walk with me was incredible. You don't realise how loved you are until things like this happen. Just truly amazing, truly amazing.
This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin. This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin.
Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see. It looks something like this.
I don't think I've ever seen a better 15 girls come together.
To perform with the other 14 amazing women it means the world to me, and I love Brooke and Bree's choreography. I always have.
We went with the song This Is Me for a few reasons. First off, these are strong women and we want each one of them to be celebrated as an individual. But calisthenics is a team sport, and so we want to unite all these strong individual women together. In calisthenics, there's so many things that can go wrong. There's all our apparatus work, so we've got our rods and our clubs, and these girls are working fast. So, of course, things can go wrong, but hopefully they are prepared enough from all their years of calisthenics, not just the last couple of days.
Look, if anything wasn't to work, I know that they are so professional that they could just turn it around to make it look like it was always meant to be that way. We understand the struggles that these girls go through with all of their training to get to the level that they are, their elite level in the sport. So their story of struggles and, you know, falling down, getting back up again and jumping back in and just keeping on going no matter what, that story was coming through within the song, and we just loved that.
It's definitely a challenge, you know. You've got 15 completely different girls all trying to look the exact same.
We all have our own talents, and to bring it all together into one team item, it's going to be pretty epic.
So I won Graceful Girl in 2016, so it's been 4 years since I've done a solo, and it's only 3 days old, which is very young in the calisthenics world.
Olivia is one of those rare creatures that you sometimes watch in dance who is perhaps one of the most consistent calisthenics performers that I've seen. She just makes things look effortless.
The music today that I've chosen is a piece called You Will Be Found, which is about depression and anxiety and everything that people go through in their everyday lives. So it's a very emotional piece, and it's hard to connect to that piece of music and really channel that inner emotion that I can portray and hopefully win the judges over. My costume today is not as plain as last time. It's more out there. It's glitzy and glamoury and what calisthenics usually is. And I need to really be able to hit them in the heart for them to be able to understand the performance and connect. The hardest thing to master today would definitely be that connection to the specialists.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found.
Shadows, the morning is breaking and all
That was amazing.
Thank
For
you.
me, from the very start of this competition, you've been a standout and you did not disappoint today.
Thank you.
I feel like you have the full package. The thing that stands out the most for me with you is your transition from one move to another. It's just seamless. It's just really beautiful to watch. And then you have all that grace on top. I feel like you really know how to speak to the audience. It's like a language almost with the way you move. It's just really fluent and everything's precise and you really connect with that audience. So look, I'm just really impressed with you today. Well done.
Hi, I'm very glad that you found calisthenics because you are the type of performer that every little calisthenic girl wants to become. And I loved throughout that performance, you were really eyeballing us. I don't know if you felt that. You were really focusing in on that, and that was just, it really was transcending from the stage to us, and you took us through every moment of your performance, which was just breathtaking.
Well, Olivia, you were absolutely immaculate in the audition process, and today you were just breathtaking again. I think that you do calisthenics proud, and it's very nice to see you as a representative in calisthenics.
Thank you so much. It means the world.
The specialist said that every calisthenics girl wants to grow up and be like you. What do you want to say to the world through your dance?
Just believe in yourself, really. I guess, you know, it's a lot of hard work and determination to get where you are, and if you believe in yourself, that's all that really matters.
This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin. This is Calisthenics, brought to you by Mount Evelyn Community Bank and Thermoskin. Before the final results are announced, the entire group are ready to showcase their team performance.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me.
To get into the top 5 and then to win overall, it would be amazing. To win today, it would definitely be nice. Be a nice little cherry on top of the cake.
Well, I'm a little nervous as I am. I get nervous for all judgments, whatever it is for, but I'm actually not as nervous now because what I did out there, I'm really happy with.
I'm just excited to be here performing in the top 5.
The group of 15 is just so strong and it's, yeah, just beyond words.
I've just really given it all I've got and hopes for the best.
You know, it's so amazing to be in the top 5, and now I just want to prove that I did deserve to be a part of the top 5.
Well, that concludes our incredible performances from our 5 finalists. It's now over to our specialist to announce the winner of This is Calisthenics.
Can I just say, I'm not certain if I'm allowed to say this, but it's been really, really difficult.
Oh.
And heartbreaking, quite frankly, and I don't ever want to judge again.
No.
Okay. And the winner of This is Calisthenics for 2020 is... Olivia Baluka!
Well done. Amazing. Look at the size of those flowers. Oh my God, look at her standing there. It's amazing.